Wing Kings. Listen, think, act, repeat. Welcome to the Left Wing Kings podcast. Today we're going to be talking about PragerU. We're going to be talking a little bit about Enrique Tarrio's sentencing for January 6th, as well as hate speech being protected by the First Amendment. I want to thank all of our listeners to this podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, the whole nine, Google, everybody. Thank y'all for tuning in. I also want to thank everyone watching the live stream on Facebook and YouTube. Please feel free to post a comment and we'll share it during the live stream. Somebody turn their volume off. They're killing the whole vibe. They're killing the vibe. All right. So go ahead and post those comments out there. I am your head moderator in charge, your HMIC, Malik, and I'm joined today by my queen, Walanda.
What up?
And my main man, Ace.
What up, what up, what up?
All right, let's go ahead and get it cracking, baby. On September 5th, Oklahoma followed the lead of Florida, licensing PragerU as a state-approved vendor. Now, Florida and Oklahoma have already agreed to start using their content as part of their curriculum in schools. Texas is still debating this. There's a lot of controversy on this right now, but I'll let the pros kind of get into that. Now, if you don't know, PragerU is a conservative organization. It's created by Dennis Prager, and it produces videos on topics like history, slavery, politics, economics, culture, all of that good stuff. Now, Walanda, as the resident educator in the mix, can you tell us a little bit about your thoughts after you kind of looked into this PragerU situation?
Right. Well, first I want to address that education policies and curriculum are adopted by local boards. Since the buzzword has been about indoctrination, let me go ahead and define what that means, since that's been the buzz as far as concerned about left versus right. So indoctrination is the process of teaching or influencing someone, often in a biased or one-sided manner, with the aim of instilling specific beliefs, values, or ideologies. Typically, you will see that in education, religious realms, policies, social groups, and it could either be explicit or subtle in its approach. So with this group being a conservative nonprofit organization with the educational resources that provides, again, that would be a question of, are you indoctrinating, right, students to believe these specific values and beliefs that may hold true for them? So that is the biggest concern, since we all want to, talk about the critical race theory, which again is not taught in schools, but concern. That is the concern. The key word is the indoctrination piece. From the information that we did find out, since PragerU is not an accredited university, it tells you that that's what we plan to do. We want to indoctrinate. We want them to believe these specific values of how women should act, how males should act in society. So, yeah, definitely a concern.
Yeah, there's I've seen a few videos on there, man, and they just have me like mouth agape, just in awe of some of the stuff that they say, man. Like I saw one about, it's called The Short History of Slavery, and a short history of slavery, and it wasn't short, first of all, but anyway, Candace Owen is on there talking.
Oh wow,
man, she's. So here's the thing about what they do, man. They hit you with facts, but they try to hit you also with a bit of a twist of propaganda to kind of lean it in a way that, to me, what they're trying to do is take away guilt from white people. That's basically what the whole thing is. Like from the videos that I've seen so far, it's like, we're going to talk about some facts, but then we're also going to make it seem like, well, it wasn't white people's fault. We're just doing what other people were doing. Or, hey, white people were the ones to save the world from slavery. Things like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's, from what I've seen, I sat there and I just watched them. Some of it's true, some of it's propaganda.
Man, it completely just tripped me out altogether, man. It just took me back to, and my thought is like, how deep is this, or how much can this like just really affect people? And I thought about when I was in school, like we didn't have no control on who gave us the textbooks or whatever. Mm-mm. And when I was talking about it in our meeting this week, I talked about Scholastic. That was a big name. And those people, and everything Scholastic got us, that's what we learned. Now, PragerU is going for that business now in these states. I mean, that's just a centralized attack on changing what the message is, you know. I saw the one that had with little Christopher Columbus on there,
Mhm.
and that's what tripped me out too. These are like in cartoons for like first graders. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? This ain't like no, like they're going to the heart of changing what the narrative is when it comes to slavery and Black history and all of that, and just really just with a better term, whitewashing everything, and like, hey, slavery was okay. Everybody did slavery pretty much, and just let's erase that history so we don't have to talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
And like when you say propaganda, well, what's the purpose of that? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the purpose of erasing people's histories? You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't erase the whole Holocaust, and that happened way after slavery did. You don't even anybody mentioning nothing like that, talking against it, saying they're not going to teach that in school. But when it comes to slavery and Black history, what, are white people tired of it? Well, guess what? We were tired too.
Yeah. No doubt.
We're still tired. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You think we want to talk about it all the time? Do you think we want to address it? No, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So now you got a whole educational attack against it with a company that's going out and now getting legislations and legislators and all that stuff to indoctrinate this into the schools. Yeah, but voting ain't important. You know, being aware of what's going on politically ain't important.
Right.
Yeah, well, nah. That's why they call it being woke. Like, wake up, man.
Right.
Like, that's what they're doing. Then it's too late if you go into your school and you're asking your first grade teacher why your kid's coming home and talking about slavery is okay. And
too late.
Yeah, and
because that's what's gonna happen.
We're all one color and all of that stuff. As they're taking their power away to vote, as they gerrymandering their districts. You know what I'm saying? It all starts there.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I also think it's crazy because PragerU, and this is from PragerU.com. So please go to the website if you want more information on PragerU. This is, fact check. But they're not even an accredited university, meaning their information. So let's say you go to school, right? And you have to go to certain schools. They have to be accredited for you to get a diploma. Or you go to university, get it accredited for a degree, meaning some people go to schools and they don't have any accreditation, meaning I can't go to college with that information. So just understand, and none of this is accredited. So in order to meet that criteria, it has to have quality assurance, right? So it has to mean terms of the curriculum are up level of quality. They don't have that. Transferability, meaning that you can go to any other school and that information will apply any place that you go throughout the state. They don't have that either.
No.
Federal funding, so they can't get funded federally because again they're not accredited. So the feds won't supply information or as far as funding to them on that. So students they don't get money. And then the last one was employer, of course, recognition, and then continuous improvement. So they don't meet any of this criteria. So why in the world would you adopt a curriculum that doesn't meet quality assurance? That's just questionable all on its own. So they know there's some things that you can question on PragerU and the curriculum that they're trying to provide.
So when you say that they don't receive federal funding, can they still receive funding from the state? And is that how are they getting contracted and getting paid for the youth? So they're getting state funding.
Right. So there's a difference between federal funds and state funds that you can receive.
So basically they're getting money. What you're saying is they're not getting federal funding.
Right. That is correct.
Okay.
So it's going to become a point where if I live in Texas, I'm not going to learn anything about slavery. I'm not going to learn anything about Black history. I'm not going to learn anything that talks against what the Anglo-Saxon did to other people here. I mean, sooner or later, they'll probably talk about Native American history. Whatever they don't want in there, PragerU ain't going to teach. Some guy just...
Well, they're not allowed to anyway, because here's the thing, like CRT, we can't, like, y'all can't talk, like, and don't get it twisted. I know that critical race theory is not the discussion around slavery, but that's how they apply it here in Texas. They like, hey, critical race theory, we know that's a whole different thing. It's basically stating that race has a impact on society, the laws, the rules. That's CRT. In school, they try to, just don't talk about slavery. But now they're kind of like peeling back the onion and saying you can talk about slavery as long as
you turn it from a different narrative.
Right.
Hey, slavery was okay. Y'all learned to trade, just like Dan DeSantis said. You know what I'm saying? So some guy pretty much came up with an idea and said, hey, man, let me figure out a way to change the narrative when it comes to this. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start attacking the school districts. once again, local and state politics.
That's correct.
And I'm going to get this changed over periodically. And right now he's going to probably the radical red states with governors that are going to bend a sympathetic ear to it.
Right.
And just attacking it that way. And next thing you know, your kindergartners are looking at a cartoon with Christopher Columbus running around saying, hey, slavery was okay. Yeah, it was pretty good. Y'all, most black people got a trade out of it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So it's just,
so let's
you got to understand how important it is to be involved with all of it.
But let's make sure that we have we're not only focusing on like slavery with PragerU, because they got all kind of topics, man. That's really, if you don't pay attention, if you don't look at what they're doing, you're not gonna find out about it, like you said, until your kid comes home and says, Mom, shut up, I'm a man and you're a woman. Because they have videos on there about how the woman is supposed to be docile and behave and listen to the man. And the man protects. Bro, I'm telling you, when you talk about conservative values, they going all the way down like the rabbit hole with this. And there's videos on
LGBTQ.
Oh,
right. They talk about that. They talk about all types of things. And I think that their whole thing is really focusing on, like you said, conservatism as a whole, man. It's not just about slavery. It's a whole bunch of topics.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's shocking, man. It's shocking. And it's shocking that, like, the level. I mean, you start talking about elementary schools, and one line, you can help me with this. Most kids in elementary, they ain't thinking like that. You know what I'm saying?
They ain't worried about that.
Like, they don't care who or what's at the monkey bars. That's just whoever they cool with, and they don't care what color they are, what sexual preference they are. They probably ain't even thinking like that. But either way it goes, it's just scary that we're trying to influence kids at that age and just trying to change it over. Conservative, liberal, whatever it is.
It's right.
What are you doing teaching elementary kids this? You know what I'm saying? Like, and even middle school kids or whatever. Like what's the I don't understand the purpose behind it.
So to indoctrinate.
I mean, I understand,
let's be clear, like
what they're doing. I understand their purpose, but I don't understand why.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And the problem with it, and I don't want to say like conservatism is wrong, because there's some things that I'm a little bit more conservative about. I understand that. But the overall perspective, it's very a one-sided approach, and it stops you from critical thinking. You don't question. This is how it's supposed to be. And that is the problem. As far as you should have critical thinking in education. That is what we're supposed to do. Teach people how to think. Not necessarily what to think, but teach them how to think. Where do you find the information? When do you're supposed to question? What is supportive evidence? That's what education is supposed to do. So that's my biggest concern. And like you said, do understand racism is indoctrination. You are teaching a specific belief, because I'm sorry, I go to school every day and these kids love on me. They don't look at me and see a black female. They look at me, I'm their principal. She cares about us. She wants us to help, grow in education. They don't look at me as a color scheme per se. Those things are taught. Yeah. Okay. So just understand that there's some beliefs, of course, we want all of our kids to know. Like, we want everybody to be kind, right? We want integrity taught. I mean, if we're going to indoctrinate, can we indoctrinate those things, positive?
Yeah. So to your point, you said like, why? It's exactly what you said. PragerU is intending to push their beliefs on other people, right? That's really what this is about. It's when we talk about it, they try to portray it as an alternative viewpoint of the facts. So they will give you the facts. Like when they say, well, history, they'll say something like, white people didn't even start slavery. Egyptians had slaves back in 3,000 years ago. True. That's true.
That's a fact.
Okay, but why can't you just say, hey, slavery was started by Egyptians 3,000 years ago? Why are you throwing the white or black or Indian? Like, Indians didn't start slavery neither.
Yeah.
Like, who said? No one said white people started slavery.
No.
You know what I'm saying? That is like, they're trying to push their belief out there to start a narrative around, hey, let's just all know, all these little kids, everybody, kindergarten, white people didn't start slavery. We just want y'all to know that. Okay. That's their message. That's their belief. And although that is true, they're trying to remove guilt They're trying to remove blame. No one has ever blamed white people for starting slavery. Not that I know of.
Nah.
So why are you going out there to make a point to make everyone aware that you didn't? And then they made a point in that same video. White people actually were the first ones to stop slavery. In 1833, Britain outlawed slavery. In 1860, in 18 something, France or whatever stopped slavery. And then in 1865, United States stopped slavery. Blah, 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 blah. Like, so you forgot about Egypt. That they had slaves, like you just said, they had slaves 3,000 years ago.
Yeah.
They stopped having slavery way before 1833.
Yeah.
Like they built pyramids in thousands of years.
Yeah, and they didn't have industrial tools and machines
Yeah.
to get it for them. So yeah, you probably needed slaves to carry all them big ass blocks. Now they want to talk about Britain. Britain made slavery big business though. The show did that, and that's kind of, and that's a whole different show. But yeah, there's another why that I see in it, man. When you're talking about the why. All right, so if you're able to erase the slavery situation or segregation or whatever, you're able to say, all right, we're all starting at the same starting line right now. And so as people go through and they'll say, hey, well, why would I sit around a corporate boardroom? I see maybe one black face. You know what I'm saying? Or so-and-so was here at the job, been here 15, 20 years. Can't ever move up. They're only going so far.
Right.
And so-and-so just, been in here 5 years, almost fresh out of college, and that's their boss or whatever the case may be.
Right.
In corporate America or in jobs, there's certain things that happen is the reason why you're seeing a whole bunch of white faces compared to black people or any people of color.
Right.
Starting line ain't even.
Nope.
But if you can erase that history and start talking about it and saying, hey, well, no, right now we're all equal. 20 years from now, when that kid gets a job or they're working in corporate America and they see, well, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, why can't I go any further?
Right.
Or why don't I have any more representation when it comes to upper management? Well, they don't know the history or the reason why that is.
Right.
So,
exactly.
I do think, remember we were talking about how I think they're trying to solve a problem. So I kept thinking too, like, what is the purpose of this? Like, do people really believe this? Like, just wrapping your head around it. And I think they want to eliminate the fact of race itself, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just remove race. And so therefore everything will be okay. And we're not going to talk about it. And if we don't talk about it, then, we live in this kumbaya. Right. Like we're in a kumbaya world. But unfortunately, not dealing with your past is not the answer, in my opinion. It's not been working out, right? Like, so I think in essence that I try to think like they are not in a malicious, this is not a malicious intent. I think they don't understand the root of the problem, or that it's so deeply rooted in racism as our country itself was founded on it, that I'm just not going to talk about it. We're just not going to talk about it. It'll go away. And as generations come up, then we just have this whole kumbaya feel. Yeah. That's what I think. I think they're in that whole, kind of mindset of don't talk about it. It'll go away. Yeah. And then life is great.
Well, I mean, I think that their position, I don't think that they're right, but I think that is definitely part of their position. But when you hear conservatives talk all the time, talk about the woke mentality and, we don't want our kids feeling guilty in school. I think that's another way why they're trying to position themselves as an alternate reality, but they're not changing reality. They're to your point, Ace, they're changing what they're talking about.
They're changing the narrative.
But guess what? After that, I don't know, 8th grader gets taught that, hey, slavery's not white people's fault. They leave that classroom. They go out in the street. Somebody calls them the N-word. They go home. They see that they living in poverty. Their dad, can't move up in the company, or their moms, doing whatever. Like they can't change life. They can't make slavery go away by telling people, that white people aren't at fault. You can't change reality because your belief is different than my belief. I believe, and I've never said that slavery is all white people's fault, right? I say that our country is rooted in slavery and discrimination, and that there are people here who are taught to not like other people.
Yes.
Okay. But is this really teaching them? Like, what you should be teaching, PragerU, is why we should all love each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe you should be teaching that in school. If you want to fix things, Teach that. Teach, hey, you know what? Slavery was real, but that's not your fault.
Yep.
And we should all be able to love one another today. And we should all be able to live in peace and harmony today because slavery is over. That's what you should be teaching.
Right.
But
And
you're not focused on that.
Right.
So to me, it tells me that you really don't want us all to be together or fix anything. Well, you do want to fix something. You want to fix the feeling that you say white people feel guilty because of this. But I don't think, like you said, I don't think kids give a fat
They
rat's
don't
ass
care
about that.
man.
Kids do not run around like they don't. Like I said, they don't even.
They don't care about that,
man. Especially right now. Like if you go in school systems, and we didn't see it probably as much as when we were younger, but black girls date Hispanic boys, and black boys date white girls, and white. I mean, no one. They don't care. They don't care about all that, and that is not being taught to kids. Like I said, what I stress is you be kind, you be honest. Let's have integrity. Let's question what should be questionable. Let's think. What does critical thinking look like? Those are the things that are taught in school. So all this other, crazy that's going on in different instructional material programs with ulterior motives, it's really sad because I think that ultimately it's going to hurt us. We're going backwards.
Yeah, I mean, we don't. Let's get it. We don't want to talk about the Ku Klux Klan, but they still here.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to talk about Martin Luther King getting assassinated, but it happened. You know what I'm saying? Tulsa, Oklahoma. We don't want to talk about those things that are in the past that we caught the bad end of it. You know what I'm saying? But you just can't erase it either.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Imagine if Tulsa, Oklahoma would have stayed up. Well, black people probably be. You know what I'm saying? In the state of Oklahoma. Or it may be a place where you might have been able to go get a loan or something, or whatever the case may be, and start off a business or a corporation back in the 20s that now is a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
Right.
The playing field ain't level. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically what it is. So don't teach a doctrine. It's trying to say it is.
Right.
And a big part about that is because black people came from slavery and then a whole bunch of years of discrimination that still goes on to this day. Now, I'm not saying you got to beat kids upside the head with that either. I don't want you to teach my kid that either.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I don't want you to erase it and tell them that, hey, you know what? It's a level playing field and this is what it is. Right. So, PragerU, like I said, and here's the deal. You're making conservatism look bad because I don't think true conservatism is about
that right. No.
Yeah. And so when under the pretense of being a conservative, you go in and do all these things that are pointed to a white nationalist agenda, that's where it comes into question. Right. You know what I'm saying? Now, that's the problem of the Republican Party. You allow white nationalism to come in and start pushing their agenda under your party. You know what I'm saying? And you have now leaders that are there that are going under that same doctrine. Right. And it's killing you. Let's be real. Abortion is killing you guys. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a white nationalist agenda that they're pushing and they're making people choose on. Damn, Tuberville is holding up military promotions behind it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, Republicans, stop allowing that to happen. Yeah. And then they go in and they attack our state and local politics, and they do it to just do evil things. Like they have poor Alabama all red and one little bit of blue around goddamn Montgomery, Mobile, Alabama. But for anybody in Alabama, it's the reason why they went on the football games. Ain't nothing but black folks there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Anywhere you stop, it's black folks. But only black folks are only voting this much or whatever the case may be, and everything else is that all comes from that white nationalist agenda and then playing dirty politics by gerrymandering and doing all of this stuff. And this is part of it. PragerU is going in now attacking school boards. Yep. And now we got to be watching school boards because we don't know what the hell they teaching the first grader about damn Christopher Columbus. Right. Yeah. We already knew they wasn't teaching them all the history of Christopher Columbus.
But now we really know.
Now you got them there talking about slavery was okay. What the hell? What's going on? And that's what tripped me out about PragerU.
Yes. And do know that, and I'll keep pushing that, please register to vote and listen and research. But there's House bills. There's bills that are passed. Like we just had looked up the House bill. They got this PragerU even in the doorway. Is House Bill 1605. That allowed the TEA, which is our Texas Education Agency, to create an open resource instructional material program program that districts may use. So just know that, like, these are bills that are passed. Okay. So you have to research and look and see what is going. And I know a lot of people like to, I just want to live my life and I don't want to be worried about it, but it is impacting you. If you have kids in school, you got grandkids in school, if you care about education, please make sure that you are keeping eyes and ears open on what is going on in your state, in your city, locally.
Yeah. When your black child comes home and tells you, Mom, white people saved us from slavery, you're going to be like, okay, that I guess that is impacting my life, right? So you got to pay attention to what's going on out there with the schools, the voting, all of that. I mean, Prager has a right to say what they say. They're an alternative viewpoint. They're a belief. They're not breaking any laws or anything like that. I'm not trying to say any of that, but in my humble opinion, they're wrong and they need to be stopped. So if you do not vote, get out there and vote. Look at the issues at hand, like Wanda said, vote on the right things. Make sure that these types of organizations can't get their hold on our kids when they're young, because that's what they're trying to do, catch them while they're young and change their viewpoints for the country. And at the end of the day, if you have not gone to YouTube to look at PragerU, go on there. I mean, it's YouTube, PragerU. Just go there and type in PragerU. You will see their channel, their videos, and look at what they are teaching. It is not good. And if you don't like what they're teaching, go to change.org. There are plenty of petitions against PragerU. Keep in mind, there's also a lot of petitions out there. PragerU has a bunch of petitions trying to get them added to more schools in more states. So keep that in mind. They're fighting. They're doing everything they can to get into every classroom. We got to do everything we can to stop them. So let me see. I got some comments on here. Thanks, Tina, for letting me know. Let's see. We got John Kirkland Bonham says, speaking the truth. That's right. That's what we do,
Hey,
John.
Bonham. That's my boy.
Okay. We got Steve in the building. Said education impacts everyone, whether we realize it or not. 100. Let's see. Danielle. She says we need to rock the vote rush party. You know what I'm saying? I agree with you 150%. We need one of those. Jacqueline Starks in the building says pay attention. No doubt. We got to pay attention to what's going on. And, you know, with that being said, I mean, we also got to pay attention to what's happening with these Trump lovers out there, because they fighting for Trump and they going down. Like we got my man Enrique Tarrio, who was just sentenced to 22 years in prison for seditious conspiracy on the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Now, this is like the stiffest punishment that anyone has received so far. That's the biggest sentence you got. Like for anything connected to Trump.
January 6th.
Yeah. So, Ace, I know you got some feelings on this whole January 6th sentencing for Tarrio. So let us know what's up in your mind, man.
I mean, I say it's bittersweet, and some people celebrating or whatever. I fall on the situation that, and Tarrio, he may be a little bit of what I'm taking, but, down the line, some of these people are just regular people, man. They just, have a belief or whatever. But you can't break the law. And you can't you definitely don't want to break federal laws. And that's what happened January 6th. Now, Tarrio wasn't even there. You know what I'm saying? They got him as a mastermind. And what happened is they looked at his text messages and a lot of his conversation and what he was doing on that day was he's listed as a coordinator of what was going on. And he was the preemptive leader of the Proud Boys at the time. And a lot of people under his direction did a lot of things when it comes to attacking the Capitol. So he got a real stiff sentence out of it. Like, it's still the U.S. government. You still breaking laws. Like, you can't encourage people and you can't take things and break into the Capitol and not get punished.
Exactly.
Like, the smoke and mirrors, end of the day, of what politicians say or politicians do. If you act upon that and you do something and the government catches you, you're going to go to jail. And that's what's happening with a lot of these people right now. And why I say that is because everybody has whatever political belief they have. I mean, that's how that country's founded. Two-party system, that where if you have these beliefs or those beliefs, you come through and you should have a conversation, agree to disagree, and that's the way the country's ran. But when it comes to the point where people think it's okay to like go down to a national monument and destroy it
Mhm.
and attack policemen when they're going down there, what did you expect? And then when you have a group that talks hate and
Right.
talks all of that, and you lead that group into there, and that's part of it, and they have close connections to the administration and stuff like
Mhm.
that, and they're carrying some political power, what you think's gonna happen, Tarrio? You're gonna get a stiff sentence.
Mhm.
And none of the begging and crying and stuff that you're doing now when you're in front of the judge is gonna help you.
Yeah.
And he's Afro-Cuban.
I'm so confused.
He's Afro-Cuban.
I'm so confused.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, I didn't know who he was, and then I pulled it up, and Malik was like, I said, babe, but he kind of looked black or something. What is, you know? So I had to look up his ethnicity, and my mouth has just been open since then. I just
Hey, he Afro-Cuban.
I don't understand. Make me understand. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I mean, and like, I'm just trying to picture the Proud Boy meeting. Like, how you get the vote, bro?
How did you in the
Like,
head?
How you get the vote? Like, you know, man, we need a leader. You know what I'm saying? Of our racist group. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so just not being funny, guys. So again, go to npr.org, www.splccenter.org, and they will tell you the Proud Boys is, as far as the FBI recognizes Proud Boys as an extremist group with ties to white nationalism.
White nationalism.
Now listen to what he just said. He is Afro-Cuban, and they have ties to white nationalism. Make it make sense.
I don't know if it makes sense or not, but I will tell you what they say they are. They say that they are a Western chauvinist group who embrace anti-politically correctness and anti-white guilt. So in their mind, they are, once again, here's this anti-white guilt thing. Like, what? Who told you need to be guilty of it? You did something, you did it. Okay, but you're not doing it now. Okay, great. This is who they say they are. But to me, if you are aligning yourself with, like the FBI said, they align themselves, or I don't know, what was the terminology you used again, babe?
Which one? Extremist group with ties.
They're tying themselves to white nationalist groups. You can say whatever the hell you are, but when you walk in holding hands with these cats, you part of that. Yeah. You at least are supporting it.
Example, like, you know how when they on Twitter, like you tweet and then you retweet. Mm-hmm. That's what I feel like. You're retweeters. Okay, right. So that means that you support whatever is aligned with white nationalism. Hence, you're African Cuban. I'm sorry. I want it to make sense, but it doesn't in my head.
Well, let me play devil's advocate with January the 6th. We had people that also thought that the election was stolen and thought they were acting on that, like in a patriotic way. I mean, believe it or not, that's what they thought. They thought, hey, you know what? The election was stolen. They were convinced that.
Yeah.
They were told that election was stolen. There's a lot of evil things going on. You know what I'm saying? So we have to go back and take the country, you know. Now, people got their reasons why they believe that. But at the end of the day, when you commit crimes, and let's say for whatever reason that is true, you still got a government in place. When you make that decision to commit crimes, you're gonna have to do the price for it. You know what I'm saying? And that's that. Now, Proud Boys probably ain't the people you want to follow and make that decision on, because I mean, I'm confused if I'm even a white nationalist. Like, okay, I'm a white nationalist, but I got Al Jarreau's son up here leading the damn Proud Boys. You know what I'm saying? Like, so what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't.
Said Al Jarreau.
I don't get it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine like if you like you a new member of the Proud Boys. You know what I'm saying? And like, hold them, come on over here, man. Let me introduce you to the leader.
You're like, huh?
And they come in here, Ray Parker Jr.'s cousin, walking up in this motherfucker.
Does he have a reverse vitiligo? Who is this guy?
I can't with y'all.
But he caught a big sentence along with some other ones. But yeah, he was, and then he was in there saying like, I'm a change, man. I bet you are changed.
Oh yeah,
because you got to change in prison because prison don't play that.
yeah.
Yeah. So how does he align himself in prison? That's my thing. Because I heard that prison is
Oh, he gonna
very
have a
discriminatory.
nah,
And
yeah.
whose side are you sitting? Who are you sitting
You
with,
know what?
sir?
He probably gonna. I will tell you this. He probably will sit with the white people. He probably will sit now in prison.
You think they're gonna let him?
I think his reputation will allow him
His skin tone don't.
His skin
let him.
tone does not, but I think that his reputation, the things that he has done for their cause, I'm telling you, they will pull him right in along with them and protect him because of what his stance has been.
Yeah.
That's they
How
will
do we
do
know
that.
they watch the news and they get information?
They ain't been in prison their whole lives, and they got TV.
Yeah,
I mean,
Okay.
they know.
I'm just wondering.
I don't.
And for Trump, like he went to jail for Trump.
Yeah.
They gonna embrace. I'm telling you, they gonna love on him. Okay, he probably gonna be. I don't think he's gonna be in charge in prison. Put it that way.
Oh no,
he ain't gonna be in charge. Them white folks said, "Hey, no. No, he will not be a shot caller, but he will be embraced by them and protected by them."
Yeah, I mean, but Latinos run deep too. So
they gonna try to get him.
He might have some connects though.
He might because to your point about being Afro-Cuban, let's not forget where the Cuban race aligns with politically in our country. They are heavily Republican.
Yeah,
Cuban people, like you got Ted Cruz, you got all kind of people. They are Republican to the core.
Yeah.
So when you talk about he's Cuban first. That's just like what's his name, Manny Sosa, or other football players or baseball players. They Cuban first. They black. They speak Spanish. They from Cuba.
Big Papi.
Big
he's
Papi.
Dominican Republic though.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah. But still, he's an example of a Afro Latino.
Yeah,
right. They Latino. They from another country. Their country is. They come over here. They Republicans. Think Miami. Think Florida.
Yeah. Yeah, they look like us, but they don't talk like us.
Right.
If you ever did that, walked up to a brother, and he started hitting that real Cuban Spanish. That all right.
I'm just.
Your name ain't Leroy.
Yeah.
Your name ain't Leroy.
We was in Honduras. They thought I was Honduran because I was talking Spanish.
I was like, no, he's just black. He's coming with me. He has a.
Look at his passport. Let him on the ship.
Yeah, you gonna get stuck, but they're gonna take my husband.
We get caught up under the border, man. Like I said.
And do understand.
Hey, when I go to the Caribbean, I'm Dominican Republic. I be lying to them Spanish girls.
You stupid.
Dominicano.
All right, so we got a few comments I want to get at here on Facebook real quick. Yeah. Steve said, he got his wake up call. Talk about Enrique Tarrio. Then he says, I'm really trying to figure out how he ended up being the leader too. It's like a black dude being the leader of the Klan.
Basically, I mean,
what's my man's name? Was it
Dave Chappelle show?
Yeah, the blind Ku Klux Klan man. White power and all that. Head blew up. Boo.
John Bonham says, we as people of color and impoverished folks need to increase our literacy across the board. Without our kids reading, our economic strength is decreased. 100. I believe that. And then he said, we need to stop being minstrels in public as mouthpieces for these racist fools in office. Yeah, because I mean, when we acting, to your point, John, I think what you're saying when you say minstrels is like
I know
clowns,
exactly what
basically,
it mean.
like acting like some damn fools.
Right.
When we need to act like the smart, intelligent people that we are and show what our true value is and show what we really want and talk about those things, right? And put the right people in office.
And again, not all African Americans, like because we all sit here and we all have different political beliefs, align themselves as far as conservative. I was wondering, like, how do they get there where they're just so aligned to Trump, but conservative values, like you said. I think some of them are really, they do believe in these values regardless of what happens, and that party loyalty is strong in the Republican Party. Like you can do no wrong.
Yeah,
that's only my concern. I think wrong is wrong to me. I don't care who it is. Like I said, I'll call out I don't care. If you're wrong, you're wrong. But that party loyalty seems like it's very, it runs real deep, real deep, regardless of what happens, what they've done, historical perspectives. I just feel like if I'm this, then I'm this, and to the rest of my life, regardless of how that impacts me or my family or anybody else.
I mean, it's some real conservatives out there. There's few and far in between because of the populace of Trump. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, and let's not even put skin color on it. I could understand the guy if you're a business owner. You're making money. you're in a certain tax bracket.
Mhm.
I can understand the conservative views kind of leaning your way because they
Mhm.
do a lot of good things if
For
you make a
taxes
certain tax
purposes.
bracket,
Mhm.
taxes, and just that'll make their lifestyle a little, a little bit easier. I got a good
Mhm.
friend of mine that's a Republican, and I understand why he's a Republican. You know what I'm saying? Because of what his beliefs are, and also because it makes sense a lot of times when they're talking about corporate tax, what the corporate tax
Mhm.
amount is, and the whole
Mhm.
9 yards. It's these people that I know that ain't there, and they don't have
Right.
conservative
Like you don't even
beliefs.
have that kind of money. So
They don't have
what
conservative
is
beliefs.
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Like if you like if you live in, you working class, or you're living in that certain aspect, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You probably ain't married, probably smoke weed, you know what I'm saying? You probably ain't conservative. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. So you're like, how do you align yourself? Well, like what part of the party are you?
You're not understanding when they saying they're gonna cut taxes. They're not cutting
Your
your
tax-
taxes. You ain't making enough
Right.
money for your taxes to get cut for you to feel
Right.
that benefit and belief. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But that's the education I think my man John was talking about.
The lack of.
The lack of education in
Mhm.
reading and understanding politics and understanding what's going on. End of the day, a lot of people don't even know what the definition of politics is. They think politics is what comes on CNN every day and they change the channel.
Mhm.
But politics is actually the allocation of resources.
Mhm.
All right, with that being said, you should be voting for what's going to benefit you in getting some of these resources. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Personally.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if they cut Apple's taxes
Mhm.
and Apple keeps all the profits and they show record,
Right.
and you don't own no stocks,
Then
you know
what
what
are
I'm
you?
saying?
Mhm.
It's not benefiting you. You
Right.
probably ain't conservative. You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying?
But they don't understand.
They don't
that. People
understand that.
vote against their own best
But
interests.
you see Trump on TV, a celebrity,
Mhm.
and he starts saying the things you want to hear.
Right.
Then you say, well, I'm gonna go with this guy. But you're not understanding the smoke and mirror of politics. That's he's just telling you what you want to hear so you can get your vote.
Right.
Get your vote. You really technically voting against yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Speak it. I've been saying it over and over. No one listens to me.
But I mean, but that goes in with the education, not getting
Right.
caught up with the riffraff. And if somebody tells you, hey, don't look at this channel, look at that channel, don't read this, don't read that, just start believing this. And now I can pretty much tunnel my message straight to you all day, all night with no interruption.
Mhm.
You really lost.
There you
I
go.
turn over and look at Fox News
I
every
was
now and
ask
then.
him. I watch
Yeah.
Fox News all the time. And some of the news shows really are news shows. I told them where
Yeah.
they mess up is they have a lot of opinionated shows.
Yeah.
There are people are
No.
taking as factual information. That is not a news show. That's an opinion show. So you have to be able, again, education, be able to decipher opinions from factual information.
Yeah, I mean,
and not everybody can.
Let's put it on the table. I look at it, and sometimes there's some things I agree. Like I agree with you too, Fox. Hunter Biden did something. I don't know what he did, but he did something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Okay, let's find it out.
Right.
But I'm not gonna say, well, I don't know, blah blah blah. If Hunter Biden stuff ties back to Joe Biden, y'all
Then
go
we'll
for
take
Joe
for it.
Biden and do what y'all
There you
need to
go.
do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now, all this stuff that's tied to Trump, guess what? They doing what they need to do.
Right.
And wherever the chips fall, they're where it is. But end of the day, in the story, if this dude gets convicted for any of this, I don't want to be my president. You know what I'm saying? Just like
Right.
if something happens with Biden,
Exactly.
the same
Right.
thing. But I'm tired of and I tell like a lot of people say, I'm tired of well, let's get this out because this is out. Like this is out about Trump, so we need something out about Biden.
But right.
Like they're talking about impeaching Biden. I'm like, why? Like,
For what?
What did he do?
What did he do?
And they can
Other
articulate
than
like
trip
that.
over a sandbag
Yeah.
and his walk to the helicopter be killing him. Like, dog. Like
You gonna get there?
Hey, just give him a scooter, dog.
Stop.
He ain't
Let's
gonna get there.
Biden a
Hey
scooter,
man,
bro.
I hate to like switch
Like
gears
this-
on this, but 60-something% like of people that disapprove,
It is.
and like a
It's
crazy
scary.
number out there. I can't remember what the percentage
It's
was.
scary.
They're like, we would rather have another Democratic nominee
That's
rather
stupid.
than the president. It may be stupid,
That's stupid political.
but
He's
it's what
not
people
strong
want. Like,
yeah, but
he's
again, people don't understand
he's-
politics.
yeah,
Thank
they don't
you.
understand politics, but I'm just talking about what the people want, not
What they talking
what
about-
they can and
What
can't
they
do.
talking
now-
about doing?
now
I'm
how
putting
we
the
gonna be
football.
screwed up?
I'm talking about football.
Because if you would
aspects.
lose,
I'm talking about football aspects. What they doing? We on the goal line. when you got the president in office and he's running again,
Yeah.
he's at the goal line.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
already
in
done.
the
Just punch the
election.
ball. Punch it.
It's like you saying, well, I'm at the goal line, but moving back to the 50-yard line, I'm gonna try to get a touchdown.
Yeah. No.
Like that's if they start another Democratic candidate
right
that's basically what they doing.
I mean,
like,
no one is saying that that's not true. I'm just saying that people don't
No,
like him.
yeah,
He got
yeah.
a disapproval rating, and they don't like him so much that they would rather go back to the 50-yard line.
yeah, exactly. We don't want this touchdown.
Yeah,
Well,
that's all I'm saying.
And at the end of the day, and you know, and like I said, I stand real independent, but I look at the politics, I pay attention to it. You say what you want about Biden, but the stuff's working.
Yeah. And he ain't hurt me.
Economy's up.
We good.
He's improved the most jobs since like 1942. Infrastructure, it's construction every damn where. You know what I'm saying? We hate it, but hey, you know, he's building the country. It's a lot of things that he's actually doing. That's good. Now, Afghanistan, he blew it on that. That's gonna kill him. You know what I'm saying? Like when he withdraw, and it's partially his fault. Kind of did it wrong early in the thing, but that hurt. So it's not pretty on everything he got, but people got to understand that, like,
he's done a lot.
Yeah, and people got to understand, especially on the Democratic side of the ticket.
He's done it.
Yeah.
For Republicans too. Like the student loan thing, that helped everybody.
Yeah.
I don't care what people agree or disagree. There are young folks who cannot purchase a home because they're so indebted.
Yeah.
And you can argue and, well, I don't want to pay for your debt and blah, 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 blah. You're not paying for it because I know what I pay in taxes every year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So don't worry. We probably took care of that for half a year. You know what I mean? I said, so we are actually helping the economy, because if people are so just in debt, they can't purchase anything. Then what happens to your economy? It slows down. And guess who actually pays for everything? Your working middle class.
Yeah.
And it's diminishing.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got to look at what is actually happening. And I don't want to hear about gas prices, because he don't control gas either, just to let y'all know.
Exxon does that.
Yeah.
Just to let y'all know, which is a large corporation?
Corporation.
That gets
tax tax breaks from the
There
Republicans.
you go. Again,
And don't share the profits with you.
Man, I could talk all day. I get
200%
so passionate.
profits, and you don't see none of that.
Yeah, so be mad at Exxon. Call Exxon. How about that?
Oh, you can join their rewards program.
Yeah,
right.
Right.
You know, it's
They
just
don't-
nuts. Let's do this. And I know you didn't want to get off it. This ain't one.
Yeah, but we going.
Yeah.
Democrats, who are you gonna run? Like who? Like tell me who. If you don't run Biden, who?
No one's strong enough.
Who? Ain't no more Obamas around the corner, bro. That ain't happening.
I take
you know
Hakeem Jeffries over. I'm just telling you who
No,
I would
Hakeem
take
Jeffries.
over.
He's good. He'll
I
probably
would
come up.
take over Biden.
No, he's good. He's a good. He's a
time.
good. He's a good look.
Now, would he win
No, he's
versus him?
but he's-
Probably not, because he's not the incumbent president.
Too, and he's a
But
no.
When people just say, I don't like him, I would rather have somebody else. That's just a preference. I would rather have Hakeem Jeffries.
Yeah.
Will he win? I don't know.
He looks better. I'll give him that. But
we like Bernie. I mean, we
but
like a lot of
I
people.
voted
for
for
it.
Bernie every time he was a nominee. Every time.
Bernie's problem is he's too left. Though.
I understand that people say
I like
that, but I'm just saying
He's
I
too
voted
left.
for
He's
him
not
every
moderate
time.
enough. That's his
And if
problem.
I could
you gotta
have
be
him
middle.
over Biden, I'd take him.
Yeah. But I'm not voting for the president for just how they look.
No,
Of course, Hakeem Jeffries looks good.
I'm not
But
worried
my
about how he
thing
looks.
is,
I'm just
I
worried
think
about
that-
I prefer him.
I think that, and don't get me wrong, I'm really playing devil's advocate, because I think when Democrats say this, it's crazy. Now, if they do have a better candidate, show me, bring them up or whatever. If they do,
we
I just don't-
did. Like Hillary Clinton, y'all can talk about her all day.
Yeah.
But that's when
Hillary.
we messed up. We
Oh,
wouldn't
yeah,
even
yeah,
be
yeah,
in this
Hillary's-
situation if we had Hillary Clinton.
But I'm talking about today.
unlikable. But today, yeah, you're right, because she ain't running anymore. But see, again, I know we can't talk about the past, but if we had
Yeah.
Hillary, we wouldn't be having these conversations in the first place. But as we know, women don't like other women, and y'all don't like her. I don't care about people's likable factors. Even the same with Trump.
That's the
I
problem.
don't
When
like
people come
him.
voting. They're liking stuff. Too.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's not even about that. I don't like him as a person. I don't think he's a good person. And
This
he
ain't
ain't done
the
nothing for me.
class president for high school.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
It's irrelevant. Can you do the job? Can you
Is
do
he
the
good on
job?
foreign relations? Is he good on keeping the economy where it needs to be?
Mhm.
Is he making my life better in one way,
Right.
shape,
So-
or form?
Once again, devil's advocate. I think Hakeem Jeffries and Bernie could have did both of those things and more. But
I don't know
let me
Hakeem
jump on these
Jeffries'
comments real quick.
Yes.
Foreign policy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
So we got Lynn on here. She says, people need to really realize that what Biden has done for the people, which is true. The people don't understand. Like he's done a lot, to your point, Ace. Steve said, one thing that I find annoying is they always talk about Hunter Biden making so much money. He made a few million, but the Trump kids made billions, and they actually work in the White House.
I said that already too. Why do you think he put them in the White House? I'll be getting out my family too. Let's make this money together. Because that's what happens.
That's basically what he did. He did it. He did it just like he runs the business,
And
but
non-shamefully.
non-shamefully. But I do want to jump back real quick on the topic that we was talking about, Enrique Tarrio, where we kind of went off course a little bit, but it's all good. At the end of the day, man, one thing that we need to talk about with this is we brought up the fact that he's Afro-Cuban. We did also talk about the fact that, you know, Cubans have a high percentage of people who are, you know, conservative and Republicans, but at the same time, he looked like us, and I'm pretty sure he's been called the N-word before, and he's probably had things happen in his life where he was negatively impacted because of the color of his skin.
We know he's getting called now. He's getting called.
You know what I'm saying? And so at the end of the day, why do we find that there's so many African Americans or Afro, you know, Latinos going to jail for Trump or getting indicted for Trump or fighting for him? Why? Either, to your point, like you said, your mouth was open. Like, this dude is black. Like, so why do we think it's happening in our time today? I don't know.
I mean, you know, we all know when it comes to the justice system and you black, that's just not a good look anyway, regardless. Like, we don't usually come out good when that that happens. You know, OJ, think about it. OJ is really the only brother that kind of won against the justice system, and we still can't live that one down.
Right.
They still say he's guilty.
They still mad at OJ verdict and shit. I got kids that wasn't even born.
Yeah.
Grown ass kids that wasn't even born. OJ got convicted with that. So, like, you know, 9 times out of 10, most black people know once you start getting in front of them judges and them lawyers, it ain't a good thing.
Right.
So why would you risk doing that? I don't care who you support or whatever, but when you start doing things that underhanded, like Harrison Lloyd,
when you start breaking the law, I know you're doing wrong.
Cuddy, like, when y'all start doing things, and especially if they send you to break laws and do things and convince other black people to break laws and convince things, like, you're gonna put them at risk now.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So
that's a great point.
What, like, you know, I don't care if you support Trump or do whatever, but like, if it comes to the point where now it's some sly, underhanded stuff going on, what makes you think he's gonna take care of you when he ain't took care of nobody? Nobody.
And even as a black person, if he tries to help you, there's no guarantee, because like you said, the courts, we already know how the courts treat black folks.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, if you gonna get caught and you're gonna go down, more likely you're gonna catch some time.
Right.
You're gonna go to jail. Like, there's no mercy for you in that situation. We all know, we all had this conversation with our kids, like, don't break the law, don't get pulled over, and if you do get pulled over, you got to do X, Y, Z, because we know what the justice system is about when it comes to us. It's a horrible conversation we got to have with our kids, but everybody's had to have that conversation. Hey, I ain't told my sons, if you get pulled over, you with your white friends, you got to act this way.
Yeah.
They might go off and be left.
But
you got to act this way. And I even told them 9 times a day, you're going to go to jail. Like, just be prepared for that. They going to go home and you're going to go to jail. And guess what happened to my son? That happened to him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I told him that. You know what I'm saying? So why, if you're a black person, are you like signing up with that, knowing that you're
knowing that you even if you're risk averse, it's just the probability of that happening to you is just so much higher.
Like, Harrison Lloyd got locked up out of everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that makes me think,
sad.
Knowing what we know about black people and our relationship with the legal system.
Yeah.
What are they afraid of from Trump? Because to me, you know this is gonna happen to you. So what is Trump like? What power does he have? What is the fear? Like, if I go against this man, ooh man, he might ruin my reputation. Is he gonna have me killed?
I think they're gonna get paid out of it sooner or later.
You think it's about money? Like, it's just such a high bounty, you know?
I thought about it, and let's even take it off of the black people. Let's say the lawyers. Them lawyers know Trump ain't gonna pay them. Like, a lot of lawyers ain't gonna get paid. They got history where he ain't never paid these lawyers.
What?
Right? Yeah. So what do they get out of it? Well, think about it. What's the worst thing? Even Harrison Lloyd, somebody gonna pay him to interview. Somebody gonna pay him to write a book. If they make a movie, he gonna get rights for the person playing his likeness and all that. So it's almost playing a long game with it. All right, yeah, I might get messed around and get thrown under, but in the story, end of the day, as this
I'ma be
thing goes
rich.
along, I'm gonna start making money off of just being part of this. You know what I'm saying? In prison or out of prison. You know what I'm saying? If you just want to think about it. That's the only thing that I can see, because he was an ex-president, you involved in it, whatever happens. End of the day, they're gonna make a movie out of it, even if it's Lifetime or Tubi. Somebody's gonna make a movie out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Somebody's gonna write a book. Somebody's gonna want your opinion. In National
So you think
Enquirer,
long game
somebody's gonna
money.
want an interview for you, and you're gonna be able to charge for all of that.
So Enrique got 22 years. When, let's say, I don't know if he's even eligible for parole after a certain amount of years or anything like that.
85%. They
Okay,
got to do 85%.
so he got to do like at least
Like
what,
19
15?
years.
Okay,
It's
so
16?
19 years, let's
18,
say.
19 years.
Let's say
somewhere.
18, 19 years. Will people want to, like, will he do that while he's incarcerated? Will he like write the book
Probably.
and get the movie
You can
deal?
get money then,
and,
Probably.
well, he can't use it while he's in prison, but he can
But
still
get
make
it.
money.
Right,
He
he
can
can make
have the
money,
money.
though.
Like, he can put some money on his books, but
Probably.
but you know, that money be waiting for him when he gets out.
Does he have family? Oh no,
Yeah.
his wife divorced him. I think that's what I saw. He was
I don't know
married
if
and
he
then
has
she
any
divorced
family,
him.
like kids or
I
anything
don't
I was
like
just
that.
thinking about, are you thinking
don't know.
about, kids and taking care of them? Like, I can't take care of me, but at least here you go. I don't know.
You think about it like this. Monday is 9/11, right? We still talking about that. My son's walking around here, 21 years old. He was born
My baby
the
was
month after.
born.
You know what I'm
Mine was 9/11.
Yeah.
But not the year after. So
Mhm.
anniversary.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he's a month after. He's born
Mhm.
Halloween that year. He's 21. We still talking about it.
Mhm.
Still big thing. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about this for a long time. So a lot of these people 20 years down from here,
You think it'll still be conversation?
still be conversation about it. It may be a damn Netflix series on it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's when y'all find out the truth. It's just like if you look at the Waco series, we like, whoa,
Didn't know that, right?
didn't
Yeah.
know all of that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, think about like Jordan, Last Dance.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
Many years after.
yeah. So 20 years down the line is when the truth come out, and then you're gonna have somebody, I don't know, somebody gonna be playing Harrison Lloyd. You know what I'm saying? Going to talk to Ruby Freeman.
Yeah.
And they're gonna tell us all the truth behind that,
Right.
and he's gonna get residuals off that.
Money's the root of all
Yeah,
evil. So you
yeah,
think it's
that's
about
it.
money?
I know it's about money. What other reason would you do it and not get
Never
paid up
did.
front with it?
Yeah.
Right.
Because only leverage that he really has is like, well, you gonna get famous. I mean, I'm not gonna pay you now. So why would you work hard and do all of this, and you ain't gonna get nothing out of it? You gonna at least get speaking engagements. You gonna at least get a book deal out of it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying, I'm not going to jail to make money. Just let you know that right now. Okay. I'm not
either.
going. I'm not built for that.
But
and I'm not going.
some people
All right.
do.
Yeah.
Especially like when you're talking about millions.
Yeah.
That's
Nope.
that some people they weigh the pros and the cons and they make those decisions. I let them live that life though. I mean, but when it comes to like the things that Tarrio did, and like you said, just kind of knowing what could happen to you as a black person, you could easily get caught up in that stuff, man. And people take risk. And a lot of people are taking risk with speech. And what I mean by that is people are taking risk and hate speech. So they crossing the line a little bit here. Like some people say enough, like to get actually arrested. I think there was a guy, and I can't remember his name, a while back, who was saying all this hate stuff online and talk about how he was gonna kill the president. They went to his house
In Utah, you talk about.
and they went to his house, told him stop it. Then he kept doing it. Went to his house again. He put out a gun and said, "It's my right." He shot at them, and he's dead now.
Yeah.
Free speech is what he was standing on. Like, but it's hate, right?
Yeah.
So the First Amendment guarantees the freedom of speech. That includes the right to say hateful stuff. We all know that, but there's some exceptions to the rule, like hate speech that is likely to incite imminent lawless action is not protected by the First Amendment. So when he said, like, "Hey, I'm going to kill the president," the FBI went to go give that man a visit because that's imminent lawless action. You're saying that what you're going to imminently, I'm going to kill you. Oh, the president's coming to Utah. Better get my, AR-15 or whatever he said, right?
Yeah.
So in recent years, there's been a growing debate about that. Like, hey, you can't stop us from being hateful and saying hateful stuff. First Amendment protects us from that. So I know Walana feels kind of strongly about this, so wanted to kind of get your stance on all of this.
All right. So let me first start reading the First Amendment. What is it? So it says Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a what is that? Of grievances. So basically, no fear. So just like what you said, for hate speech typically involves discriminatory, derogatory, inflammatory language or actions targeted at specific people or communities. So you just cannot target people and just say crazy stuff and like you're going to kill them on there. So there's been quite a few cases dealing with hate speech. But what I found out through my research is that it seems like it's more happening in other countries like Europe. Like they have stronger hate speech laws, way, way stronger than we do, which is interesting. So just some notable court cases. We have RAV versus City of St. Paul. That happened in 1992. Case involved a teenager who they burned a cross in front of a lawn of an African-American family. Can't do that. And the reason, because based on prohibiting displays that arouse anger and resentment based on race, color, creed, religion, or gender. Other one was Skokie, Illinois versus the Nazi March. This one was interesting. It was actually on my birth year, 1977, but they were allowed to march in a town that was predominantly had Holocaust survivors. So that was upheld. Now that one in 1977 had so much backlash, I guess, from the court ruling that more cases like this came out because they're like, okay, so you got Nazis marching through a town full of Holocaust survivors, and you don't think that excited some type of emotion?
Yeah.
The other one's laws in European countries, in Germany. If you say something about a Holocaust denial or you're denying the fact that a Holocaust occurred, that is a criminal offense, and they serve time for that. Now, just imagine we just said slavery didn't exist and slavery was okay and all those kind of things. Think if we had a law like that.
They do say that.
Right. But think if we had a law like that, they'd be in jail.
Yeah.
Other one.
They said it was a trade school, DeVry University.
Right. They'd be in jail. It's a criminal offense.
My family didn't get their certificate. Nigga, so we didn't benefit off of that at all. Nigga.
No, sir. And Canadians, shout out to my Canadians in hate speech. They have laws that heavily prosecute for promoting hatred or discrimination based on characteristics such as race or religion. So they have a very severe laws. Most of the time they go to jail for hate speech, and everything's considered hate speech over there. You better be nice and kind when you go to Canada. Now, our USA cases, what was interesting is they're fairly, to me, recent. So we got Virginia versus Black. That was in 2003. Cross again. They're burning crosses.
Still burning crosses in 2003.
2003. And that's a form of intimidation.
You still burning crosses?
Yeah,
and shit.
still burning. Snyder versus Phelps, that was 2011. That was the extreme anti-gay protests, but that one was actually upheld. So basically on military, since it's considered as public property, that they can come in and say whatever they wanted to, even though that it was obviously very offensive to the deceased on there as far as being gay. So that was the anti-gay protest, and that one was held up in Supreme Court. And then Mattel versus Tam, that's in 2017. And that's where registering trademarks that may disparage people. So like your Nazi symbols and things of that nature, you can't have them. So we don't have a whole lot of laws with hate speech. And it's very, very hard, actually, it says in court to say, because you can technically offend people and it's okay.
Yeah.
Even though. So if you're not really saying I'm killing them or anything.
Yeah,
Right.
well, I to give us the beautiful educational background and version of freedom of speech. I get the benefit of giving you just the hood ghetto ass definition. Stop talking reckless, nigga. You get your ass whooped. That's basically what it is. Talking reckless is what that's called, bro. And back, come on, Sean. We, went to school together. Some old chum, Sean Whitaker right here, Malik Whitaker. We're old chums. We went to school together. And then John Jay, you just couldn't talk reckless. Somebody's gonna slap the shit out of you. Big West, somebody was there to slap the shit out of you. Leroy Griffin, nigga, you know what I'm saying? Like, so don't talk reckless or you get your ass whooped. Well, guess what, white nationalists? The United States government is Leroy Griffin. They can slap the shit out of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't get it. Like, you can't talk about shooting the president. He coming to your city. They got whole organizations called the Secret Service that protect the president. They're gonna look into you, bruh.
Right.
And they carry big guns and they got a lot of big dudes and they wear nice Armani suits. They're gonna come get you. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it don't even make no sense. And when people try to say, well, that's freedom of speech. Well, everybody got freedom of damn speech. You know, say what you want to. But you're gonna have to pay the consequences with that. We know that.
Right.
I'm saying we learned that in school.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You just can't say what you want to say.
Oop.
You know what I'm saying? And you better watch who you saying it to.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Basically, so that's just basic common sense when it comes to it. So I don't get these people, especially some of our politicians, that back up things and say, well, man, they got freedom of speech. No, you don't. If you tell people to go march out to the Capitol
Right.
and fight like hell, and I'm gonna be there with you, you know what I'm saying? You just can't say that, and they go do it. That's called inciting the riot,
Right,
and that's
right.
against
Exactly.
the law.
Like,
It
oops,
sure
I didn't
is.
mean to.
Imminent danger, like I said. You
Can't do
imminent
that.
action.
You can't do that. And we learned that, and like I said, we learned that coming up in school.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And he targeted, you know what? I'm just thinking about that because he targeted out specific people or communities. He said it in his own speech. So I don't know. He's gonna be in trouble on that one.
Yeah, no, me and Sean sat at the
Yeah.
lunch table in high school, and man, we used to cut people all day long. We was probably the best up in there, just going off on people. But that was that one dude
Yeah, you and that.
that you didn't say shit about.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Because you knew that came with ass whooping. I don't care how funny you were. You know what I'm saying? So we learned that back in school. So you talking about now
Right.
grown ass people don't understand
Yeah.
that freedom of speech don't mean you just say anything off the top of your head. You won't, can't nobody do it. Just like you say. Now that's a beautiful American amendment. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you just said, you just can't go in Germany popping off about the Holocaust.
No.
They'll lock your ass up in
Yeah.
there. You
Sure
can't even
will.
do that shit in Canada. You
No.
just,
Yeah.
and Canada's right here.
There.
Yeah.
Right.
You
So
know what
why
I'm
in the
saying?
United States? That's what I was wondering. Like
Well,
the
Because we
surrounding.
are
the
founded
United
on
States.
racism.
But we're supposed to be the leaders, you
Yeah,
know.
you
So let's
right.
lead by nature.
We supposed
you
to
know?
be.
well, we know when the founding fathers made that.
I know he tells me all the time. They weren't talking about you.
No,
They
when
Right.
the founding fathers made that, the reason they said that,
Mhm.
because you can say shit about King George and you
Mm.
get locked up. So
Right.
when they did that with the idea that we're going to build a country that you can be able to speak your mind as long as you're not harming nobody. You're able to
Right.
speak what you want to politically, and then
Mhm.
through
Without
that
fear.
through that debate, we'll be able to legislate and do things like that. That's where
Mhm.
that came into.
Mhm.
Now we got these idiots that just want to say anything that they want because they feel like, because I mean, let's be real. In the 90s, we didn't have this problem. People wasn't just popping off at the mouth
No.
like that. You know what I'm saying? But when certain people got into power, they felt, okay, well, I can start saying what I want to. I have a platform that I can kind of do
Right.
it, and I'm protected by the law.
Mhm.
Yeah, you are. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You ain't protected from no ass whooping. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so to your point, first off, I think people were always saying this shit. It's just that they didn't have a platform to say it so that we all knew they were saying it.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
social
yeah.
media and shit like that. Like there was motherfuckers in the back room in a barn somewhere in Nebraska saying the same shit
Oh,
that
yeah.
they saying online on Facebook.
Yeah.
Right. It's just that they have a different platform that allows their words to reach a wider audience.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what's happening. And secondly to that, when you on a keyboard or you're in a room where it's just people like you feel a lot more comfortable saying what the fuck you want to say.
Yeah.
You could Leroy Griffin in the room with you. Okay. But if that, for some strange reason, they don't think that other people are going to find out what they're saying, or they don't think that the actions that happen based on their words, like it says here, anything that incites imminent lawless action is not protected by the First Amendment. So what you saying might cause somebody else to go out there and do some shit. This is why when I say people go out there and kill people and say I did it because of Trump, I'm like, well, nigga, that nigga should be in jail for murder too. Like you ran out there and killed these people because what Trump said, shit like that, but he has no culpability at all. So that's a whole nother conversation. But at the end of the day, I think that it all boils down to people are more comfortable because they're in a space where there's people like them when they say it. So they're not worried about the repercussions, but they're not thinking the long game. They're not thinking, what if this happened? What if this and this happened because of what I say? Right. And also they hiding behind the keyboard.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We know that just by looking at the comments we get sometimes. This motherfucker's hiding behind keyboards right now,
I
saying all
said that,
kind of
so I wish you'd
outlandish
show-
shit.
Yeah, I should
To
come
your
show my
point,
house.
that if they was in front of me,
Oh, they ain't gonna say that.
No,
they
I
get
told
their
them
ass
that.
whooped.
I said that was like these people. That's why I had to stop reading some comments because I was getting so upset, and I was like, "How can they type that out? Read it, type it out, and just be okay with yourself.
They
And
just
just go
spell
about your
corrected
day.
on that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? They just looked at it and everything. But there's a lot of bravery about being anonymous on social media.
Right. That's what he said.
Whole
Too.
bunch
Yeah.
of brave, tough dudes,
Mm-hmm.
keyboard gangsters out there.
But and also the other thing about it, I'm like,
Disrespectful.
you got all of this shit, but you don't make no videos.
Nah.
Like we making a video talking about something that we care about. First Amendment and hate speech, because we care about it. We think it's a message that people need to hear what we have to say. But you got all these keyboard warriors. They want to go out there and troll and say all kind of crazy shit. Nigga, if you feel so strongly, why don't you make a video with your perspective about how you hate America and how you hate these black people and put that out there so people at your job can see how you really feel about shit. But they won't do that. No. Like you said, they're afraid.
They're doing
anonymous,
some dark
anonymity,
crazy stuff.
Right. It's all about that anonymity. They're afraid. They won't go out there. They won't make a video and say what they have to say because they know it's not right. And they're gonna get in trouble for doing it if they put if they really get out there and get in front of people.
If you really feel, I told people that. I said, I will find your job. I hope your job knows you don't like black folks. I hope your job knows. You know me. I hope your coworker knows that you feel this way about black men. I hope your coworker knows that when you got, Billy Bob on your Facebook page, man, I should reach out and message him. This is the kind of things you're saying, It's crazy to me. I just, to be hateful in itself should be against the law. You should be trying to support being kind, right?
That's what Canada says.
Yes, and they're nice. If you met some of the Canadians, they're very nice people.
Yeah.
Just saying, like, we need to be emulating those kind of things. Positivity, being kind, being good, since we are talking about religion all the time.
So can hate speech be regulated?
No.
You don't think so?
I think that's hard, especially with social media and shit like that. Like
they ain't got that many cells to regulate hate speech like that. They're just people gonna say what they want to say, and that's unfortunate. I think the regulation is the simple fact that it's like anything else. It's called manners. You know what I'm saying?
Well, regulate yourself. You're saying
it's called manners, man. You know what I'm saying? And it goes back to what's being taught to you in the house. If you're taught to hate, you're gonna hate.
Yeah.
And that's where the problem really is instilled. Look, I say this like this, but I say, man, and I probably say this every show, the Civil Rights Act, and I hate that it's called Civil Rights. That's another show. 1964. You know what I'm saying? Nobody in this room was probably born in 1964. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in this room got grown ass kids.
Mm-hmm.
So if that was done in 1964, why in 2023 are we still talking about hate speech?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's when people start talking about progress and things are different. In some areas,
incremental progress.
Yeah, but come on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We're a long way from.
Well, we just talked about 2 generations, us, our children, and some of our kids now got children. That's 3 generations, bro. And we still have people that are comfortable enough now to go on a platform and write hateful stuff. And then you say, well, slavery happened a long time. Well, yeah, blatant racism happened a long time too.
Even after.
Right along with it.
Right. It was.
And it's still here. So it's okay for you to have your feelings or set up the systems and things because you don't like a certain kind of people, but you don't want to talk about why.
Yeah.
You don't want to fix the problem.
Right.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, under our Constitution, now you're saying they have a right to say it. Ain't nothing we can do to stop them.
I think that's the bigger point is that, like you said, it's 64 this happened. But today in 2023, we got people saying, I have a right to hate you. I have a right to say hateful things about you. Right. The First Amendment protects my right. Somebody is out there. There are groups of people supporting hateful speech by our own Constitution. That is a problem. That tells us we've had, like you said, incremental change and incremental improvements, but we ain't where we need to be. Nowhere near. People are trying to protect their right to hate you.
Yeah. For what? And then half the people, and it's funny, you look at right now, especially we talking about, let's say a dude's in his 30s, maybe even his 40s. Dude, you wasn't even around when segregation and all that stuff was out where you could see it.
Well, somebody taught him that shit.
Exactly. Like I always say, I was the first generation just didn't see racism. Like my parents saw racism. They had to get in the back of the bus. They had to see
different water fountains and shit
all
like that
craziness. You know what I'm saying? They had laws that were set up because they were black. They had to go through the back door.
Right.
They saw that. My mom and them. That's
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. And
That's
that's why I
right.
tell people, I say, when you're talking about it, I ain't got to go far to get my history
Yeah.
book. I
I
live
just go
with
tell my
her.
mom. Right. Yeah.
I live with her.
Mhm.
Mhm.
She told me when she had when we traveled the Fort Worth
Yeah.
and drove, we couldn't stop.
Mhm.
We had a Folgers can in the back that we had to use a restroom in, and we couldn't stop. We packed sandwiches.
Mhm.
You know, right now, I know if we travel to Dallas now, I might stop 3 times. I'm stopping at Buc-ee's. You see what I'm
Thank you.
saying?
Yeah. How dare you to say something? Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
going to Buc-ee's and then, you know, or
Mhm.
whatever. My mom and them couldn't stop. That's
Literally.
my mom telling me that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So for her to see that, and I can guarantee, I always tell people, I say, if you want to see somebody that knows what's going on around the country, you go talk to somebody that grew up in the
Right.
60s.
Who grew then?
They
Mhm.
saw that shit when Trump was on campaign. Like, no, this is some
Yes.
bullshit, and we've heard this before.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So if you okay now, and you in your 30s and 40s, you talk about hatred, you didn't even live in that. How did you learn that behavior? You was
Somebody taught
taught
it to
that.
you.
Yeah.
And you teaching your kids that.
By the-
That's the problem we got.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Not the fact that, hey, you know what I'm saying? We just want to throw slavery and Ku Klux
Right.
Klan down your throat all the time. You don't want to feel guilty. Stop teaching your kids that bullshit. We don't have this
Right.
problem.
And which is
Yeah.
funny because they say that you're getting it from schools. I'm like, we don't teach that.
Mm-mm.
I'm sorry, you get in trouble. You say something crazy about a kid or say something out of line. I said,
Ain't
so
nobody
where did they
cool
learn about?
pushing that agenda?
Thank you. I said, where is it happening at? It happens at home.
Yeah.
It happens at home. You can say whatever you want to, but those are family values that
Yeah.
you're instilling in
Yeah,
your
that's
kids.
family
You're
values.
indoctrinating them because I be
Yeah.
telling them to go to class and sometimes they don't listen. So they ain't listening to me all the time. you
Yeah, I
know?
missed the class that taught people how to say nigga, right? I remember
Oh,
N-I-G-G-E-R.
yeah.
Yeah,
I wonder how they got that. Where was that
that
Where
was
did-
taught in
I'm
English.
sorry, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Right. So that is,
So what are they
you know,
talking
so
about?
you got to internalize. I think people don't want to reflect on their own home values and maybe maybe indirectly, like how you interact with people, who's at your homes
Yeah.
or who's not at your homes. I had some kids who never seen, you could tell they're looking at you like, I never seen someone who looks like
Yeah.
Yeah.
you.
And
Well,
let's
that, you know, so
let's make sure that we're all on the same, like
Right.
that people understand hate starts in the home.
It
You
does.
teach your child, if you whatever you teach your child is going to be a lesson that they embrace and they take with them. Like I know we all have kids and we try to tell them right from wrong. Some kids don't listen, they go out there.
Right.
But for the most part, it's still a lesson that you taught them. And they can look back at it and say, my mom or my dad told me that shit. I didn't listen. Right. But it starts in the home. All of the lessons, everything that your child leaves in. And even if they get with the wrong crowd, some kids do that. They get with the wrong crowd and end up doing some things that they shouldn't do. That does happen, but they still have that foundation that you teach them. And that's the way you send your kid out into the world with a certain message, whether it's hate, whether it's don't do drugs, whether it's go to school and get your education, whether it's be a nice person, whatever the case may be, it starts in your home. Right. And we gotta just remember that when you want to do something like protect hateful speech out there, what you're trying to do is just, portray your message of hate and, I guess splitting us apart of the country, man. And that's not something I think we should be doing at all. But hey, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, we all love each other up in this room, right? I want to go ahead and thank my girl Tina in the background over here at the I'm gonna call it the producer's bay from now on. At the producer's bay, running things, making sure I'm
fresh
staying
out
on
of Puerto
point.
Rico.
Fresh out of Puerto Rico with a Puerto Rican tan. I want to thank her for doing a thing over there, always keeping me on point and making sure that I know how much time we're using. There's people online with your comments. She's the one making sure that I make y'all's voices heard on this live cast. So thank you, Tina. I also want to thank my queen Walanda for coming through with all of the information and her perspective from the educator viewpoint, as always. And my man Ace, always want to thank you, man, for bringing the ghetto fun into the conversation and education
you
as
always
well.
need one of them with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we always do.
Ghetto, but semi-educated. I
He's
got that.
very
I'm still working on that.
very
lifetime
smart. You
degree,
wouldn't be on this show
So
if you didn't have
weren't. Right.
smarts.
He is
Okay,
very
I'll tell you that right
educated.
now. But hey,
I read too much stuff I shouldn't have to.
Hey, but I want to thank everybody out there once again on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, all of that, Facebook. Thank you so much for joining us, and we shall see you again next week. We out.